A searing Texas sun turned Highway 281 into a blazing furnace, the asphalt rippling like a fever dream. Traffic froze, horns screaming as a sea of cars choked the West Texas horizon. At the heart of the chaos stood a lone bobcat kitten, smaller than a jackrabbit, its starry-spotted fur blazing defiantly in the heat. Those golden eyes burned with purpose, daring a thundering semi to budge. Officer Lisa Caldwell leaped from her cruiser, her boots slamming in the dust, heart racing like a Mustang. 12 years with the Texas Department of Public Safety had braced her for smugglers and storms. But a kitten halting a highway? That was a wild card. "You got some nerve, kid," she whispered, her Stetson barely taming the sun's glare. Then Starthy Kitten's fiery spirit earned her the name Sprinted toward Lisa, revealing a blinking device strapped to her leg. A scratched code screamed TH39 to a hiker's SOS beacon. Lisa's blood ran cold. Her radio crackled. Tom Harper, a ranger, missing near the Rio Grande, 2 days gone. What's a bobcat doing with a man's lifeline? Lisa breathed, her gut roaring trouble. Was Star lost or leading her to a miracle? Buckle up, y'all. This Texas Tellel's steal your heart. The chaos on Highway 281 pulsed like a living thing, the stalled cars glinting under the merciless Texas sun. Dust swirled as drivers shouted, their phones flashing to capture the bobcat kitten, Star, her starry fur a beacon in the madness. She paced the median, chirping with a fierce urgency, darting toward the asphalt, then retreating, as if pleading for someone to hear her call. Lisa waved the crowd back, her boots grinding gravel, her eyes locked on Star's deliberate movements. This wasn't a scared animal, it was on a mission. A grizzled rancher in a sweat-soaked Longhorns cap pushed through, his voice rough. "Been out here damn near an hour, Mom," he said, pointing at the kitten. "That cat's got a purpose. Nearly sent a flatbed into the ditch, dodging it." "Thanks," Lisa said, her voice steady but her mind churning. She crouched, peering through binoculars at Star, now planted defiantly in the median's dust. The device on her leg blinked like a heartbeat, its code TH3912 etched in jagged letters. Lisa's stomach nodded. Che matched Tom Harper. The missing ranger dispatch had flagged. She radioed in, her tone sharp. "Unit 499, Highway 281, mile marker 62. Wildlife incident, likely tied to missing person, Tom Harper. Send Parks and Wildlife pronto." The rancher squinted, his hat shadowing his eyes. "You think that little critter's hunting for the ranger?" Lisa's gaze didn't waver. "It's not running, it's begging us to follow." A memory clawed at her 3 years ago, a teenager lost in a flash flood, her search too late. The guilt still burned, fueling her now. She wouldn't let Tom slip away. Minutes later, a battered truck with a Texas Parks and Wildlife logo roared up, kicking up dust. Dr. Elena Ruiz, a wiry biologist with a quick grin and sharper eyes, hopped out, her tablet clutched tight. "A bobcat shutting down a highway with a beacon?" she said, gripping Lisa's hand. "Hell, that's a story I gotta see." Lisa nodded towards Star, whose chirps pierced the crowd's murmurs. "That device? SOS tag, code TH39 Dispatch says Tom Harper, Big Bend Ranger, vanished 2 days ago near the Rio Grande. Could be his." Elena's fingers flew across her tablet, her grin fading fast. "You're dead on. Tom's a ranger, works with rehab cats. That beacon's registered to him site 3912 Rio Grande Trail." She studied Star, now pacing with desperate energy. "This ain't no stray, it's Tom's rescue." Lisa's chest tightened, the teenager's face flashing like a ghost. "If Tom's hurt, Star's our best shot." She watched the kitten, its golden eyes blazing with trust. "Why is it acting like it's got a map?" Elena's voice softened, her eyes on Star. "Tom raises orphaned bobcats, teaches them to survive. This one's hand raised, sees roads as safe. If Tom's in trouble, he likely strapped that beacon on her to find help." She paused, her grin returning. Smart as hell, that kitten. Star locked eyes with Lisa, her chirps a siren call, and took deliberate steps toward the scrubland, pausing to glance back. The urgency in those eyes hit Lisa like a fist shed, seen that look in humans, never a wild creature. "I'm going after her," she said, her voice iron. If she knows where Tom is, I'm not wasting time. Elena slung her backpack over her shoulder, first aid kit clinking. I'm with you, officer. Star's got a plan, and I want to know it. Lisa radioed dispatch. Unit 419 pursuing a lead on the Harper case, mile marker 62. Dr. Ruiz is with me, SAR on standby. She turned to the crowd, their phones still raised, faces hushed. Clear the road, y'all, she called, her voice cutting through the heat. This cat's leading us somewhere. As they plunged into the scrubland, the sun scorched their backs, and Star's spotted form darted ahead, a fiery spark in the dust. Lisa's boots pounded the earth, her heart racing with the weight of a second chance. Whatever Star was chasing, Lisa was ready to run with her. The Rio Grande scrubland swallowed the highway's clamor, wrapping Lisa and Elena in a world of creosote and sun-scorched earth. The air hung heavy, thick with the tang of cactus and dust, the sun's heat pressing like a physical weight. Star led the charge, her starry-spotted fur a fleeting glimmer through mesquite and yucca. Her chirps, sharp and insistent, shed Paws, golden eyes flashing back to ensure they followed, a tiny guide with a ranger's life in her paws. Lisa's boots crunched on gravel, her gaze sweeping the trail for signs. A scuffed boot print, too broad for Tom, caught her eye, etched deep in the dry soil. Someone's been here, she said, her voice low, hand grazing her holster. Her instincts screamed this wasn't just a lost ranger. The memory of that teenager, swept away in a flash flood 3 years ago, clawed at her. She'd missed the signs then, but Star's fierce purpose was her second chance. Elena adjusted her backpack, the first aid kit rattling softly. Star's no ordinary Bobcat, she said, her tablet glowing with Tom's rehab notes. He raised her from a cub after poachers killed her mom, taught her roads mean safety, people mean help. She glanced at Star, now scrambling over a limestone ridge, chirping louder. If Tom sent her, he's in serious trouble. Lisa's radio hissed with static, the signal fading in the scrubland's folds. Dispatch Unit 419, she tried, but only garbled noise answered. Damn it, she muttered. That dust storm's got backup pinned. We're flying solo. Her gut twisted, the smuggling rumors from Act 1 echoing cartels using Big Ben's trails to move drugs. Tom, a ranger, would have been a thorn in their side. They pushed deeper, Star's path winding through a maze of cactus and rock. Lisa spotted a snapped twig, then a torn bandana, its edge stained with blood. She crouched, her gloved fingers tracing the crimson smudge. Fresh, she said, her jaw tight. Tom's hurt, and this ain't from a fall. The teenager's face flashed, her failure stinging. Star's chirps were a lifeline, pulling her forward. Elena's eyes widened, her tablet forgotten. You think someone went after him? Those smuggling rumors Tom's been poking around where cartels don't like, Lisa said, standing. That beacon on Star, he didn't lose it, he sent it. She scanned the trail, spotting a crushed water bottle in a small journal, half buried in the dirt. She snatched it up, flipping through Tom's scrawled notes. Star's tracking sharp. Found crates in a cave. Rio Grande Trail. Drugs, maybe guns. Reported to Border Patrol. Man in a gray cap followed me. Cartel stash, Lisa said, her voice hard. Tom was on to them, and they shut him down. The journal's weight felt like a promise she'd make this right. Lena's face paled. That blood, they didn't want him talking. Star's chirps turned frantic, yanking them toward a narrow gulch, its walls jagged with limestone. Lisa's boots slipped on loose shale, her heart pounding. Star darted ahead, her claws scrabbling, then stopped at the gulch base, pacing and chirping like her life depended on it. Lisa followed, thorns snagging her uniform, and froze. Under a boulder overhang lay Tom Harper, his leg pinned beneath a massive rock, his face gray with pain. A blood-soaked shirt sleeve wrapped a deep gash on his arm, too clean, too deliberate for a rock slide. Tom, Lisa called, sliding down the slope, her boots skidding. Star reached him first, nuzzling his side, her chirp softening to a low, urgent purr. Tom's eyes fluttered open, a faint smile cracking his parched lips. Star, you found him, girl. His voice was a hoarse whisper, barely carrying over the gulch stillness. Lisa knelt, shoving her canteen into his hands. Drink, Tom. We're here. She scanned the rock, the guachon, the blood pooling in the dirt. This wasn't nature's work. Someone had rigged this trap. Elena dropped her pack, her fingers checking Tom's pulse with practiced calm. "Severe dehydration, crushed leg," Elena said, her voice steady but tight. "Possible concussion. We've got to stabilize him fast." Tom sipped the water, wincing. Storm loosened the rocks, but it wasn't just that. Guy in a gray cap cartel runner caught me snooping their crates, slashed me, triggered the slide. He stroked Star, his eyes fierce, strapped my beacon on her, told her to hit the road. Lisa's heart clenched. Star had defied a cartel to save Tom, her chirps a cry for justice. "She's a damn hero," she said softly, her voice thick. "Got us right to you." Elena splinted Tom's leg, her hand swift. "He's hanging on, but we need that chopper. This rock's not budging without gear." Lisa's eyes swept the gulch, landing on a glint in the brush of a broken pocket knife, its blade crusted with blood. "Elena, bag that," she said, her voice steel. "It's the bastard's blade." Her mind raced the journal, the knife, the gash. The smuggler was still out there, thinking he'd silence Tom. But Star had lit the way, and Lisa wasn't done. "Hold tight, Tom," she said, her hand on her holster. "This ain't over." Lisa's radio crackled back to life, slicing through the gulch, stifling heat like a lifeline. "Unit 4, Tyne, SAR's 7 minutes out. Border Patrol's on alert. Bolo for a male suspect. Gray cap," dispatch reported. Lisa exhaled, her eyes locked on Tom, his hand still clutching Star's fur, the Bobcat's golden eyes blazing with quiet resolve. The kitten's soft purrs anchored the moment, a tiny warrior who'd outrun a cartel to save her ranger. Elena secured Tom's splint, her voice taut. "He's stable, but that rock's pinning him tight," she said, glancing at the bag pocket knife. "That smuggler's still out there, Lisa. Has not gonna let Tom walk away with what he knows." Lisa's jaw clenched, her hand steady on her holster. "He didn't count on Star or us." The teenager's face, lost to that flood 3 years ago, flickered and faded. She'd failed then, but Star's courage and Tom's defiance were her redemption now. The journal's notes, the blood-crusted knife, Tom's gash, they all pointed to a cartel runner who crossed a deadly line. Tom's voice rasped, raw but fierce. Crates Cave half a mile west. Drugs, guns, cartel stuff. Told Border Patrol, but the guy in the gray cap jumped me. He stroked Star, his eyes glinting. "She's my miracle, Lisa." "Don't let him take her." Lisa's chest tightened, Star's purrs echoing in her heart. "She's everybody's miracle, Tom," she said, her voice low. "We'll get him, you just hang on." She meant it for Tom, for Star, for the kid she couldn't save. The chopper's thrum roared closer, dust swirling like a storm in the gulch. But Lisa's eyes caught a shadow shifting in the mesquite above. Quick and deliberate, her pulse spiked, instinct screaming. "Elena, cover Tom!" she hissed, stepping forward, boots silent on the shale. Her hands snapped to her sidearm, steady as iron. "Great cap!" Lisa barked, her voice a whip crack. "Step out, hands high, or I drop you!" Her heart pounded, but Star's fiery spark fueled her, shed-faced worse than a smuggler, and she wasn't backing down. The shadow froze, then a wiry figure emerged. Gray cap tilted low, hands half raised. His sneer was sharp, but his eyes flicked nervously to Tom, still pinned. "Ain't got no beef, officer," he growled, his voice thick with border dust. "Just taking a walk." Lisa's glare cut through him. "A walk? You slashed him? Rigged that rock slide to bury him?" She nodded to the knife in Elena's pouch. "That's your blade, pal. Matches his wound. And those crates Tom found? Cartels are not happy you got sloppy." The smuggler's sneer faltered, his hands twitching. "You ain't got proof." "Got his journal," Lisa snapped, closing the distance. "Got your knife. Got a ranger who's gonna sing to Border Patrol." She glanced at Tom, his eyes burning with grit, then at Star, her gaze fierce, and a Bobcat who outsmarted you. "Knees now." The chopper's roar drowned his curse as he dropped, dust choking the air. Lisa cuffed him, her voice cold. "You're done, amigo. Cartel's loss is our gain." She radioed dispatch. Unit 419, suspect in custody, gulch off mile marker 62. Send patrol to secure a Cave West cartel stash. As she secured the smuggler, the rescue team rappelled into the gulch, medics swarming Tom. They braced the rock, freeing his leg with a hydraulic winch, and loaded him onto a stretcher. Star leaped after him, chirping in distress, her tiny form a speck against the chaos. Lisa knelt, her voice soft as a prayer. "You saved him, Star. You're a damn hero." The Bobcat's golden eyes met hers, calm but piercing, like she knew her job was done. Tom grabbed Lisa's hand, his grip weak but urgent. "Her carrier's at my campsite, 39 home. She ain't ready for the wild yet. Keep her safe." Elena stepped forward, her backpack slung tight. "You'll get her to the Rio Grande Wildlife Center, Tom. She's in good hands." Relief washed over Tom's face as the medics lifted him. "Thank you," he whispered, his eyes locked on Star until the chopper's roar carried him away. Lisa stood, the smuggler's cuffs clinking as Border Patrol hauled him off. Star sat at her feet, quiet now, her mission complete. Lisa's heart swelled. Shed answered the call, thanks to a Bobcat with more guts than a Texas thunderstorm. The teenager's ghost was gone, replaced by Star's blazing light. Weeks later, Lisa pulled into the Rio Grande Wildlife Center, a sunlit oasis nestled along the river's bend. The smuggler had spilled, leading patrol to a cave stuffed with cartel drugs and gunsa busts that shook the border. The case was closed, but Star's golden eyes still burned in Lisa's mind, a beacon of redemption. Tom greeted her at the gate, a cane steadying his steps, his grin brighter than the Texas sun. "Lisa, you're a legend round these parts," he said, shaking her hand. "Star's waiting for you." He led her to a shady enclosure where Star prowled, her kitten fluff sharpening into sleek muscle, her starry fur glinting like a night sky. Elena was there, scribbling notes with a smile. "She's our pride and joy," Elena said. "Her smarts are teaching us how to rehab others. Tom's fund is keeping the river safe from smugglers." Lisa watched Star leap onto a rock, her eyes sharp and knowing. "She's a miracle," she said, her throat tight. Tom handed her tongs with a chunk of meat. "Feed her. She knows you." Lisa slid the meat through the feeding port, her hand steady. Star took it gently, then sat, her eyes locking on Lisa's like an old friend. "We're a team, aren't we?" Lisa whispered, a smile breaking through. Tom nodded, his voice soft. "She's wild, but she's ours, a bridge to the heart of this land." Lisa's guilt melted, replaced by Star's trust. "I came to save you, Tom," she said. "But Star saved me." The Rio Grande Wildlife Center thrummed with life, volunteers tending to hawks and foxes while visitors clustered at Star's enclosure. A small plaque read, "Star, the Bobcat who lit the way." Tom's fund grew, buying acres along the river to shield it from smugglers and poachers, and Lisa stopped by when her patrols allowed, always lingering by Star's fence. As dust painted the valley gold, Star chirped softly, her golden eyes meeting Lisa's in a quiet nod. Lisa's heart was full. Shed learned to trust, not just Star, but the wild itself. The river flowed on, carrying their story forward. If Star's light touched you, support a wildlife center near you. The wild's got lessons we all need to hear. Writing Star's signal felt like uncovering a piece of Texas magic, a reminder that even the smallest creatures can carry the biggest truths. Star's story, born from the spark of a bobcat defying a highway, hit me hard because it mirrors moments in my own life when animals, like my old mutt who once nudged me awake during a gas leak, showed me loyalty beyond words. The smuggling twist, simple but sharp, grounded the story in the raw reality of borderlands, making Star's courage shine brighter against that darkness. Lisa's redemption, shedding the weight of a lost teenager, feels universal. Who hasn't carried a failure they long to right? For me, the heart of this tale is trust. Star trusted Tom, Lisa trusted Star, and the wild trusted us to listen. It's a call to protect places like the Rio Grande, not just for us, but for the stars who light our way. I hope this story stirs you to see the wild with new eyes it's teaching us, if we're brave enough to follow.